Welcome back. Today we are going to be playing out the I-185 at 3.7, and it's mainly because, well, it has 3 Shivaks, it has a lot of ammo, and I can just spray everyone down. I did about 4 to 5 games in this thing, got an 8 and a 9 kill back to back, so I figured I'm gonna show those off today. This plane in itself has a pretty decent climb rate, it doesn't turn particularly well, but it's an absolute gunboat. It does turn well enough to the point where you can basically just point and click, and at high speed it doesn't really compress. This thing is unlike most other Russian fighters. It's a little bit different in terms of when it comes to their usual playstyle. You can't really just go in, dogfight people and stuff like that. But if you come in a third party, you can basically click everyone out of the air. And there were some guys that I heard that were complaining about Shivak, saying that they weren't strong enough. But I think that the games I got for you today will tell you otherwise. Because getting like 9 kills and still having 1/3 of your ammo left and not having good trigger discipline, like I'm just holding it down like I am against this Zero right here. You don't need good aim in this plane. You can just kind of hold the trigger down, and if a few shells find their way onto the target, they're either crippled, on fire, or straight back to the hangar. You do get a few assists here and there, but that's just the name of the game. And I am running tracer shells, because for some reason they definitely hit the hardest in my experience. And the way you fly this thing is really, you just want to find the most amount of enemies in front of your plane, at the end of your barrels, and you just want to kind of cut through them. You don't really have much staying power. You do have pretty solid climb rate, especially at low altitude. It's decent at high alt as well, but I'd like to just kind of ram it in like your uncle did, and afterwards you just abort all of them. So all in all, it's 90% guns, and it's mostly just finding targets and getting a bit lucky. Because if you play this way and the enemy is coherent, if your enemy is playing all together and playing smart, you're not gonna get much done flying like this. But you are at 3.7, you are a pretty favorable matchmaker, and very often everyone is just on the deck, so you can just kind of dive in, go super fast, and just kind of cut through everyone. I crit one, I crit two, I kill one, I kill another, and all in all it's just a lot of head-ons, a lot of spraying. And it was pretty good fun. I did enjoy this. You essentially just kind of turn your brain off and hope that you get some results. If your aim is good enough, and even if it isn't, yeah, 560 rounds or something. It's a little bit excessive really, especially with how potent the guns are. I truly hope I didn't just spark an entire team of these things flying it out. But keep in mind, if you fight decent enemies, people that know what they are doing, your lack of turn rate will kind of bite you in the ass. It is definitely flyable, it's not terrible at all, but you need to fly it in a very specific manner, and it's very hard to showcase when your enemies kind of look like this. I see an entire group. I'm gonna go for the back one first, because he is gonna get on my 6. If I go for the blob below me, he's gonna come in for the head-on. He's going way too slow, he can't really pull in, maybe he didn't even see me. I kill him, and now I just kind of loop in behind him. I have a lot of extra speed here, kind of managing my overheat by not using the web too much. But they are all chasing the P-47, so I'm just kind of trying to stay behind the P-47, so I then stay behind everyone that's behind him. Spitfire going pretty slow, we are still directly on the 6, and you can tell at higher speeds the turn rate is kind of decent, it doesn't really compress too much. So you can kind of just keep turning. Kill the G2, 109 F4 coming in, he turns much better, has a lot better stall control, but he's going a lot slower than us. But because of his position, we're gonna cut throttle and we are gonna fly directly in his loop. And that's going to be like 5 kills in a minute or something. It's a little bit stupid. But again, it's not really showing the plane too well. It's just showing that if you have good guns, any plane can perform well. Because what I just did can be performed in basically any plane, as long as they have the guns to do it. And this thing definitely does. A6M2 going way too slow, just kind of tap fire him until one of the shells finds his cockpit. He blows up, and we go onto the Spitfire that's dogfighting the 109 in the middle. Now, I'm not sure how damaged the Spitfire is at this point, but I'm very hungry for kills. I'm playing it very greedily, because, well, that's kind of how you have to do it. And this guy is just going, he's going super slow, so I'm just going to full commit head on him here. I'm just going to spray all my ammo off, we get the kill, and we are going to transition towards the middle of the map. So what do we find? It's C-109, and we are going decently quick, we have a lot of altitude, and in this kind of scenario is where the plane truly shines. Stalling people out and making sure that they don't get shots on you, and then just kind of stall on top of them. We are going 400, he's pitching up for us, he will turn better at these speeds, he will maintain speed better at low speed and have more nose authority, but I have enough energy to the point where I can just kind of loop on over. I'm kind of rushing the kill, so I'm going down a little bit earlier than I normally would. But I'm trying to stay as fast as I can without over speeding too much, but I'm trying to just get on him as quickly as I can, while also making sure that I get the shot. I'm getting kind of pressured with my team here because I'm hungry for kills, and that is kill number 8. Now, there's a B7A2, a guy that's unspotted, and a B18 left. And initially, I was gonna let the B18 bomb. I told him, just go bomb, just do your thing, I won't bother you, because everyone is about to die to the airfield AA over there. But he either didn't speak proper English, he didn't understand what I was saying, he maybe had his chat turned off. I don't know, but he kept running away, he kept not going for the bomb targets, he kept going back to the airfield, he kept just being an absolute nuisance. So I just decided, screw it, I'm not gonna deal with this anymore, it's taking way too long, I am getting kinda hungry. And I want to kill this guy before we spot the last dude, so that we can actually get maybe a 10 kill game in here. So B18 sees us last second. I mean, I have a lot of Shivaks, he just instantly dies. Hope I don't die to the gunner here, so I'm waiting for him to spin out so his gunner won't have an angle anymore. Does it quite quickly. And then the last guy is still on the runway, he hadn't taken off through the entirety of the match, so I don't get another kill in. Head on with a P39. Now this is something that I am pretty confident with taking. And then I managed to miss like 50 shells in a head on. Trying to spray a pattern around them. Nothing connects, I'm not sure. Probably the worst aim of the century. At least the worst head on from the century from my end. And this P39 has the absolute worst opener that I have ever witnessed. So I'm instantly going to get on a 6. This is a plane that I don't want to dogfight. It's a plane that I don't even want to deal with. But considering he opened so poorly, I'm able to cut inside of his loop and take him down. If I had missed him there, even with how poorly he was flying, I probably would have still tried to break off. Unless he had another absolutely horrendous merge. And then I might be able to kill him. But the P39 is something that I don't really want to deal with on the deck. Because he just has a lot of power, he turns a lot better, and he is not particularly slow. If that thing gets on your 6, you're done. T44 trying to go vertical, trying to dodge me. Not really gonna work out. We just blast him out of the air. P51 on the left, but also an F4U on the right. And I'm gonna go for the F4U here. Because if I go for the P51, this F4U is going to get on my 6. And he's more than maneuverable enough to just sit on me. And it's something I don't want to deal with. After killing the F4U, we are able to just get back on the P51. Because we are still behind him. And this is why target prioritization is so damn important. Because I went for the F4U, sure, but I only lost like 5 seconds maybe. And then I still got both of the kills. Whereas if I went for the P51, I probably killed the P51 a little bit earlier. But then the F4U was very likely to just hose me down. And just like that, in again the span of like a minute, we managed to get 4 kills again. And we just put it into a little bit of a climb, go towards the middle of the map, because we are in an I-185. We are not particularly maneuverable, and we are absolutely horrendous when it comes to defensive posture. So I try to get a little bit of alt, try to get away from the deck, and just see who I can engage. But you can tell that I'm not climbing at like super low speed, trying to get the most amount of altitude. I'm trying to get some altitude, but still have the speed to react to what's going on in the match. I know that there's a guy dogfighting on the left. I have a feeling that the Spitfires should probably have him. So I'm just gonna go for the A20. If by the time I get to the Spitfire, he still hasn't killed the P51, then I'm gonna help him out. But I have a feeling that the Spitfire should be completely fine versus him. So I'm just gonna go out of my way to get a kill real quick. Is this kind of greedy? Is it kind of selfish? Yes. But it's also low BR. No one really plays seriously, and I'm just trying to farm as many kills in as little games as I can. Spitfire seems to have somewhat equalized with the P51. The P51 is now coming in, he's going pretty quick, and it's a plane that I don't really want to deal with. So if this was a higher BR, and if I was playing purely for the win, I would have gone for the P51 first. Why? Because the P51 is a plane that I don't really want to deal with, and it's a plane that I can kill very easily if he is tied up with the Spitfire. Luckily, he's my paid actor and he just decides to go straight vertical in front of me because he was only looking at the teammate that was shooting at him from below. I'm not really sure what plane it is. I think it's a 190. Is that him? I think that was him. It's a 190. So he would have won versus the 190. But again, this is not a 1v1 custom battle. You actually need to pay attention to the other red names in the enemy team. And sometimes you also need to pay attention to the blue names in your team, because they might just end up team killing you. P38, and it's a P38E. That guy has absolutely no chance when I'm coming in with 600 kilometers an hour. And he is not reacting at all until the last second, gives me full broadside, and I just hold the trigger down. And his P38 gets retrofitted into spare parts. Kill number 7. And then we have another P39 coming in, and he is still on the runway, or at least not on the runway. He is too close to the runway to really attack here, because, well, airfield AA in props is absolutely deadly. But then he doesn't turn back in, and he comes directly for us, which is fine with me. I definitely don't mind this. And he doesn't have the speed, the altitude, or the energy, or really any way of dealing with this. Sure, he gets some shots in here. He's too far away. He's going too slow. He's not gonna get that angle. He stalls himself out. And then we just kind of loop on over and also upgrade the P39 into spare parts as well. And that's another 8-kill game. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching. Here are the results, and I will see you all in the next one.